Welcome back to the Christmas 2000 channel for a new tram video.
I thought it was going. He's in the way, that man.
Never rode one of these trams like these before.
Is Rosalind Park, named after Rosalind from Shakespeare's play As You Like It. The park was opened in 1870. The Soldiers Memorial Hall on your left is built over what was once the main shaft of the Hustlers Royal Reserve gold mine. For decades it thundered away in the city centre, mining the Great Hustlers Reef. George Lancel was known as Australia's quartz king.
Can't remember what type of glass tram this is.
Humble beginnings, his passion for quartz mining made him Bendigo's richest and most respected citizen during the gold rush years. Notice the building on the left with a clock tower. It was designed by Major George Watson and is an example of Renaissance Revival architecture. Originally built as the Centre's public offices in 1887, it became the Bendigo Post Office and Federation. Beside it is the former Bendigo Law Courts. Today, this complex operates as the Bendigo Business Centre and is home to the Post Office Gallery and Living Arts Space.
This one.
To our left is the historic Conservatory Gardens. Erected in 1892, it is the oldest public conservatory in Victoria. The conservatory is
These have been running around Melbourne, but they don't run them anymore.
Have been destroyed, making this a rare style of structure. Throughout the year, you can see changing floral and foliage displays. Ahead, you will see the Discovery of Gold Monument. This monument was erected in 1901 and depicts Fortuna, the mythical goddess of good luck, dropping a gold nugget into the pan of a Bendigo digger. The gold rush attracted people from around the globe, including thousands of Chinese who came to Bendigo in search of prosperity. Bendigo's Chinese precinct to our left is called Dai Gan San. It translates to Big Gold Mountain, as Bendigo was known to the first Chinese who settled in the region. The proud history of Bendigo's Chinese is displayed in the Golden Dragon Museum, the adjacent Yi Yuan Gardens and the Kuan Yin Temple. At the museum you can view Bendigo's famous Chinese dragons, Lung, the world's oldest, Sun Lung, formerly the world's longest imperial dragon, and Dai Gan Lung. We are now passing St Killian's Church. It is one of the largest wooden churches in the Southern Hemisphere and was the fourth church to be built in Bendigo. In the courtyard you will notice the gravestone of its founder, Catholic priest Reverend Dr. Henry Bacchus, a German immigrant. Bendigo boasts a number of significant religious sites, including the Great Stupa of Universal.
Running a tram like this in Melbourne is impossible nowadays because of the overhead cable. But here in Bendigo they still allow trolley pole vehicles.
For universal peace, the largest public trial for gemstone quality jade in the world. People travel from all over the world, risking everything that they can live in, and if they were lucky, their fortune from gold mining in Bendigo. The area we're now entering was originally known as Irish Town because of the very large number of Irish diggers camped nearby. We're now turning into Tramways Avenue. 3, a shining example of our workshop team's skills. You can also discover more
We're going in there as it is.
history within the small museum.
We're going in the depot.
For those getting off here, please mind the step and use the handrail.
Yeah.
You leave the tram on the left-hand side. As Bendigo's gold
Throw it away because we won't be getting back on it.
Still have the old light bulbs on here, one on 110 volts. We never rode a one after bodies in Melbourne when they were new in service.
Rush exploded so too in its population. There was a large horsepower tram fleet servicing the city, but for most working people, walking was the only affordable option. Country trams were introduced in the
Melbourne trams.
They were pioneering for their time. The system operated from the railway station out to the borough of Melbourne, a total of 600 kilometres. It quickly became apparent that factories were inadequate for Bendigo's electric range, which was regularly towing the overtaxed trams back to the depot. As a result, the battery company closed after a mere 13 weeks. In 1892, steam trams were introduced. They were a success, and their reliability made them popular with commuters. But the company was hit hard by the economic depression. In 1903, the electric system was introduced, and has been running ever since. This short drive straight ahead is the Bendigo Botanic Gardens, and a little further on, the Bendigo Pottery. Both should be on your to-do list for your spending time in Bendigo. Bendigo Pottery is Australia's oldest working pottery. Established in 1858, the pottery has operated continuously from its current site in Epsom since 1863. It is home to the most significant collection of ceramic wood-fired kilns in the world. If you're getting off here, please mind the step and use the handrail as you leave the tram on the right-hand side.
This is the earliest tram to have doors back in Melbourne as well.
You will notice that the bed of the creek is paved with bluestone. Over 100 years ago, the city councillors were forced to pave the creek to prevent slime and mud choking it and inundating the city, thanks to the thousands of miners using their tunneling machines further up the valley. We're now turning into Bridge Street. Ahead you can see the Tyson's Railway Channel, named after the mining reef that sits below this street. There are 17 strips of water beneath the city in roughly 40% direction, covering an area 16 kilometres long and 4 kilometres wide. Tyson's Reef was named after James Hungry Tyson, a digger who set up an abattoir near here in 1852 to sell beef to the miners. When Tyson sold up 3 years later, he was a millionaire. So many who came to Bendigo in search of gold found their wealth in other ways. We're now approaching the Tyson's Reef precinct. If you wish to get off here, please pull the left-hand belt once, mind the step and use the handrail as you leave the tram. Bendigo has since with a strong focus on producing livestock, poultry, wheat, vegetables, wool and wine. Bendigo is Australia's first UNESCO creative city and region of gastronomy, having one of the richest concentrations of boutique food and wine producers in Australia. Bendigo is also one of Australia's oldest House Temple. This Chinese place of worship was constructed in the 1870s and is one of the few remaining original buildings of its type in Australia. It is constructed with locally handmade red bricks. The Joss House remains a place of worship and is regularly visited by worshippers who pay their respects to one.
He's not turned the poles down either.
On your left, you will see Evergreen Farm, the community-run market garden. These gardens have been here since the 1850s and were started by the Chinese who made up a quarter of the town's population in 1856.
The pole this end is up, supposed to be down.
Opportunity to supply fresh vegetables to the hungry diggers. For many years, they pushed on wagons laden with fresh produce to the familiar site around Bendigo. It was at these gardens in 2005 that Mark introduced the money of the 19th century Chinese making king. A significant discovery, as it's the only known example of a Chinese making kiln outside of China. The kiln remains in the gardens to this day. It is believed the bricks of the Bendigo Joss House Temple would have been fired here. On our left, you can see a tram line branching off to what was a second tram depot built inside the old Bendigo gas plant. This depot dates to the 1980s and houses the tramway's spare vehicles. Bendigo's gas works are the last to remain complete in Victoria. Established in 1860, the gas was produced by roasting coal inside large horizontal ovens or retorts. Roasting coal was a filthy job, with flashes of fire, dust, and a terrible smell. The gas works was closed in 1973 when natural gas was introduced to Bendigo. Ahead is the Tyson Street precinct. If you wish to get off here, please pull the left-hand belt cord once, mind the step, and use the handrail as you leave the tram. The area ahead of us near the Golden Dragon. Good museum.
The pole just come off.
Bendigo's very own.
Look at that. Completely knackered. The driver took off from the terminus and didn't realise this pole up. Went down the road with this one up and pulled it off.
And if they were lucky, a fortune from gold mining in Bendigo. The area we're now entering was originally known as Irish Town because of the very large number of Irish diggers camped nearby.
It's like the heaviest tramways.
We're now turning into Tramways Avenue and will be arriving at the Bendigo Tramways Depot and Workshop. Opened in 1903, it is the oldest operating tram depot in Australia. The depot is home to our renowned workshop, where trams are meticulously restored in their former glory, or repurposed as cafes, accommodation, and even school classrooms. Enjoy a coffee or light meal at the Tram Cafe, served straight from the beautifully restored 1916 in-class tram number 3, a shining example of our workshop team's skills. You can also discover more of our Bendigo's tramway history within this small museum. For those getting off here, please mind the step and use the handrail as you leave the tram.
All good? Yep.
That's the brain air compressor making
but so too did its population. There was a large horse-drawn tram fleet servicing the city, but for most working
We're going to stop and change the points again.
Battery trams were introduced in 1890. They were pioneering for their time. The system operated from the railway station out to the borough of Eagle Hawk, a total of 6.5 kilometres, and ever since. A short
Very difficult to hold this camera steady when you're filming riding an old tram.
drive straight ahead is the Bendigo Botanic Gardens, and a little further on, the Bendigo Pottery. Both should be on your to-do list if you're spending time in Bendigo. Bendigo Pottery is Australia's oldest working pottery. Established in 1858, the pottery has operated continuously with its current site in Epsom since 1863. It is home to the most significant collection of ceramic wood-fired kilns in the world. Today, the pottery complex includes an interactive museum, art studios, and an extensive antique centre.
On the tram I was on earlier, the white one skidded on this part of the road and it up here.
We're about to turn into Island Street. This section of the track was added during World War II to take workers by tram to the Commonwealth Ordnance Factory. World War II reduced the number of men available to work to such an extent that the tramways needed to offer conductor positions to women. By the end of the war, there were 22 women employed on the trams. However, they had to relinquish their positions when the men returned from the service. Next stop, Lake Maruna. If you're getting off here, as we cross the Bendigo Creek, you will notice that the bed of the creek is paved with bluestone. Over 100 years ago, the city councils were forced to pave the creek to prevent slime and mud choking it and inundating the city, thanks to the thousands of miners using their tunneling machines further up the valley. We're now turning into
This is where the tram did wide before.
The Street Hotel, named after the quartz mining reef that sits below this street. There are 17 quartz reefs that run beneath the city in roughly a north to south direction, covering an area 16 kilometres long and 4 kilometres wide. Tyson's Reef was named after James Hungry Tyson, a digger who set up an abattoir near here in 1852 to sell beef to the miners. When Tyson sold up 3 years later, he was a millionaire. So many who came to Bendigo in search of gold found their wealth in other ways. We're now approaching the Tyson Street precinct. If you wish to get off here, please pull the left-hand bell once, mind the step and use the handrail as you leave the tram.
track going straight was the old depot track originally, but got disconnected.
left, you can see a tram line branching off to what was a second tram depot built inside the old Bendigo gasworks. This depot dates to the 1980s and houses the tramway spare vehicles. Bendigo's gasworks are the last to remain complete in Victoria. Established in 1860, the gas was produced by roasting coal inside large horizontal ovens. Roasting coal is a filthy job with flashes of fire, dust and a terrible smell. The gasworks was closed in 1973 when natural gas was introduced to Bendigo. Ahead is the Tyson Street precinct. If you wish to get off here, please pull the left-hand belt once, mind the step, and use the handrail to leave the tram.
I'm not really sure what voltage system runs on in Bendigo. It's either 550 volts DC or 600 volts DC. I don't exactly know which one it is.
This is the equivalent to $2.5 million Australian dollars now. The name Waruna is an Aboriginal word meaning pleasant waters, a reminder that for thousands of years, Bendigo has been home. friendly service and embedded them as part of the community. But it's a tough day. Shifts were long, breaks short, and wages were roughly $3 a week. It was said that if anyone came wearing those shoes, they got sacked. The company suggested no one could afford new shoes on their wages, and therefore they must be particularly material. In the face of such conditions, camaraderie amongst the trainees was terrific.
Filming while on one of these trams is pretty difficult trying to get the camera steady. The leaves on the rails aren't doing the tram any good either, because when they're running over it's crushing and making oil.
Coming up on our left is Cool Street, round at its eastern end by the Bendigo Town Hall, a grand design by local architect Wilhelm Barland, and a fine example of boom-tire architecture. Approaching the Shamrock Hotel, which began life as a small hotel in 1854. The hotel's patronage grew so quickly with the booming goldfields that it was rebuilt twice before becoming the building we see today. Its grandeur made it the accommodation of choice for visiting dignitaries. Guests included Melbourne opera singer Dame Nellie Melba, who is now featured on our $100 note, and His Royal Highness Prince Charles, now King Charles, and Diana, Princess of Wales. Coming up on our left is the heritage-listed Beehive building, built in 1872 and designed by renowned architect Charles Webb. It was originally home to the Bendigo Mining Exchange. We're now in Bendigo's shopping and dining precinct. This one-stop foodie paradise epitomises Bendigo's food culture, with international cuisine, local produce, locally roasted coffee, boutique shopping, and everything in welcome aboard. In 1858, the company was started as a building society to improve conditions on the Bendigo goldfields. This society loaned money to miners, enabling them to move out of tents and move towards owning their own home. Today, that loan scheme is better known as the Bendigo Bank, whose head office shuttle. The Star Centre in Eagle used to stop movies from the Lyric Theatre at Italy, using the bendigo tramways as transport.
Track gauge is standard gauge.
And exchange for reels. It wasn't just people and living reels that were transported. There were even parcel tickets. The profits, parcel could be carried by tram from the city to a designated tram stop village along the route. Newspapers, wheat, groceries, and a variety of other goods found their way onto the trams and were delivered by the trammers. You may be wondering why Bendigo's product tramway system was closed. Urban support and schools moved away from the city centre. Bus services were introduced and private EOB became affordable. As much as the community loved the trams, fewer relying on them for transport and revenue steadily declined. The 16th of April 1972 marked the last day of water services, with over 20,000 lining Bendigo streets in the trams were built. The trams were followed back to the depot where moving motorcade and marching bands played "Now is the Hour, We Must Say Goodbye." The idea of trams vanishing from Bendigo didn't sit easy with the community. 5,000 signatures were collected on a petition, together with 600 letters, pleading for the government to allow Bendigo's trams and track to be preserved as a tourist tramway. As a result, Bendigo's municipal tram service began in December 1972 and has been running ever since. We're nearing the second Newton Line, which operated as a commercial line from 1939 to 1940. During this time, almost 1 tonne of gold was extracted, which could be worth around $91 million at today's prices. The Central Dairy Gold Mine now operates as an award-winning tourist attraction and is a living reminder of the important role that mining played in making Bendigo
Class 610 has to make the trolley poles, they won't be going back to their burning
sure
times.
to experience one of the fascinating underground tours. For those of you leaving us, we hope you enjoyed the experience and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Passengers leaving us here are asked to wait for directions from the tram crew.